Okay, so let's take a look now at step 29. And 29, you've got two of those in the book, as you can see. One of them is for a high clearance and one for a low. And as you know, we are working on the high clearance. So we need some components. So we're going to need some of these BD2s, which are the 3x14mm step screws. We're also going to need these screw pins, the 3x32mm screw pins, and we're going to need our drive shafts, our two dog bone drive shafts, and we're also going to need our front axles that we made in step 28, and we need to put those onto the car. So I shall show you how to do that. Okay, so let us continue on with step 29. And for step 29, we're going to need a little bit of our grease that we have. And we're going to need to take our front axles that we made in step 28. And making sure we get this right, we need to make sure that we get the grease on this top hole here. So it's the bottom section of holes, but the top one of the two. And the idea is because our screw pins are going to go through there. So like we did with the main car, need to pop some of that grease inside and on both sides and on both axles. So hopefully you're getting that on the camera as I pop some of the grease in there. I'm going to do the same again on the other axle. You don't need a lot in there, you just need enough to lubricate the pin so the pin freely moves, because if you put too much in when you're driving the car out on your circuit or wherever you're driving them, you're going to be collecting the dust and stuff that comes up from there, and you don't want that either. So there's a little bit of grease on there, and I'm just going to use another paper towel just to wipe off the excess grease. So just like that, so it's not too, there's no greasy bits. We don't want the grease collecting. So there you go. So that's just slightly done. So a bit of grease in there, that's now done. And then we can put these pieces onto the car. We also need to put a little bit of grease on the dog bones as well. So hopefully you can see that. Just put a little bit here on the dog bones on either side. And I'm going to leave them on the paper towel so that I don't get grease and marks all over my manual, because I don't like greasy marks on the manual. So I'm going to leave them on the paper towel like that, ready for when I need them. Okay, so again, just enough. Don't need to go too mad. There we go. So they're greased now. Now we're going to install our front axles onto the car, and you just need to pay attention because we're doing the high setting. You need to pay attention that we use the screws on the high settings of each of the axles, on this one and this top one on here, and that's sort of denoted in this drawing here. You're using the top one, so top one which we just greased, and this top one here which we're going to use with our step screw. Okay, so let's bring them into the car. We'll do the bottom pin first, because that pin goes into the bottom of your car where the axle, the arm that came out that we put in before. So you just pop that through. Take your BC3, your 3x32mm pin, screw pin, and you push that into the bottom arm. Hopefully you can see that on camera. There we go. Then you take your screw pin and you jiggle it through and screw that tight. Like so. Not too tight, but tight. Then we take one of our dog bone axles. We pop that through here, through the actual axle itself, so it reaches the axle inside, and then we line that up with the gearbox cup. So I can give you that on there. Like so. It's a little bit fiddly, but we'll be able to manage that. There we go. So now that's lined up on the gearbox cup. And then you take this top arm and you bring the top arm to the top hole of your axle and take your step screw, and we're going to screw the step screw through into that top hole. There we are. And we've got to do the same again to the other side. So it's a nice easy step. Of course, you can get upgrades for this where you're able to get adjustable top arms here, and that will allow you to adjust. Okay, so let's do the same again on the other side, but this time we'll just crack on. So we'll take our axle, our front axle, pop that into place, take our 3x32mm pin screw, go through, screw that into place, like so. There we are. Then we take our axle and we pop our axle into our gearbox cup and then through there and collects the gearbox cup and the front axle. There we are. And we take our top arm, bring our top arm to our top hole, and using our step screw, our 3x14mm step screw, pop that in the hole and then screw that tight. There we are. Nice. Nicely done. Nice and tight. There we go. Done. We now have our steering arms and they move nice and free. Lovely.